Tini from Dental on Wheels. I visit children in early learning centres and schools, and something that often surprises parents is this. When I check a child's mouth, I'm not actually looking at the decay first. So I'm looking at everything else around it, because most of the time, what's happening with the teeth is just a small part of a much bigger picture. A lot of parents feel confused when their child gets decay. They'll say to me, but we eat well, we don't eat a lot of sugar. And I do believe them, because it's not always about sugar, it's about how a child breathes and sleeps and grows and uses their mouth every day. Once you understand this, things start to make a lot more sense. The first thing I look at is lip seal. Are the lips gently pressed together at rest, or is the mouth open? If a child's mouth breathing, even slightly, it can dry out saliva, and that reduces the natural protection for teeth. And that affects how the jaw grows as well. That impacts sleep quality, and I often see children sitting or playing or watching something with their mouth opened. It looks small, but it's a big clue. So you might notice that open mouth at rest, snoring or noisy breathing, dry lips, or drooling at night. The second thing I look at is spacing. So parents often think that straight, tight teeth together looks good, but in young children, we actually want to see some spacing between the teeth. Spacing means that the jaw is growing well and progressing quite normally. No spacing means that the jaw is underdeveloped and adult teeth may not have enough room to grow when they come through. So it is at a high risk of crowding later, and it's one of the earliest signs of how the face is developing. The third thing I look at is the wear on the teeth. The flattened or worn teeth can be a sign of grinding or bruxism, and grinding is often linked to a poor sleep quality. The airway resistance, the body is going into stress or fight or flight state during sleep. So when I see a teeth wear, it's not just thinking about the teeth. I'm thinking about how the child is breathing and sleeping. Next, I look at the roof of the mouth. Is it wide? Is it a U shape? Is it a narrow and high? A high and narrow palate often means less space for the tongue, and a narrow nasal passage because they're attached to your nasal floor. So potentially airways challenges. The mouth and the nose develop together, so that what I see in the mouth gives me a clue about breathing. The fifth thing I look at is the tongue and the oral ties. So if the child has any oral ties, the lip ties prominent, or is it thin? Is it affecting how the lips seal? And the tongue tie, if it is restricting, is it pulling the tongue down to the floor of the mouth? Is a child able to suction the tongue up to the roof of the mouth at rest? That is really important, because when the tongue suctions to the roof of the mouth at rest, that means it helps expand the palate and widen the airway. So when the tongue is not sitting up there, that's when you get the long and forward jaw development. The tongue can also affect feeding, speech, jaw development, obviously, and your breathing patterns. The tongue plays a huge role in shaping the mouth and the airways. So when I look in a child's mouth, I'm not just looking at teeth. I'm looking at how they breathe, how they grow, how they sleep, how everything is working together. And decay doesn't just happen randomly. There are often signs that earlier on, and when we can catch them early, we can guide the growth instead of reacting later. If you're a parent listening to this, just starting noticing, is your child's mouth open at rest? Is there spacing between their teeth? Do they snore or grind? You don't need to diagnose anything, just notice. And if you're an educator or a center director, this is exactly why I do what I do, to bring these checks into early learning environment in a way that feels safe, fun, and not scary for the children. If you'd love me to visit your center, you can reach out to Dental on Wheels and I'll guide you through everything. Thanks for being here. This is just the beginning and I'm excited to share more with you.